Hi friends, welcome to my processing tutorial on LRGB SHO processing with Continuum subtraction. Today we're going to be learning how to do exactly that with a script made by Charlie, which I will give you the repository for. This is a very nice script. Works very well. I'm going to teach you how to process with some example data. Thanks to Brian. Put his Instagram on the screen. So yeah. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to open up the files that I put. So of all 8 of our files. And then we're going to flip our my workflow. All of this folder, zip folder, will be in the description. And this script you can use by either putting it in your scripts folder in the PixInsight files. You don't have to use it, but I think it's a really great tool at preserving the core of the data that we're going to be processing today. So yeah. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go through the repositories that I have. So that's not what I wanted. So the repository that you need to download, I'll have it in the description, which you can paste in, is this one right here. Should be in the description. I'm not going to use anything else for this tutorial, but Blur Exterminator, Noise Exterminator, and Star Exterminator are really helpful. Obviously have the GPU acceleration, and also Graxpert that I use. You don't have to use Graxpert if you don't want to, because sometimes Graxpert is not the best. Okay, so I'm going to start by cascading these windows. Let's auto stretch them, see what we're working with. Here's our blue. What I like to do first is I like to rename them. So let's rename this blue, green, and go through rename all of these based on their filter. So this is red. This is Loom, UVIR. This one looks like HA. This one looks like sulfur. Some interesting sulfur. And this looks like O3. So after we finish naming those, let's start by doing our continuum subtraction. So this is the actual big portion. I'll have my processing icons. So what I like to do is you'll come up here, there should be night photons between mosaic and noise reduction. Let's open up our script here. Narrowband could be HA and red. So basically what this script does is it will subtract the continuum from the narrowband so that you are left with just the raw, pure narrowband signal, which you can then add to your RGB or LRGB. You can generate Starless too with this. You can use Starless or Star Exterminator for fallback. I generally like to use the Starless because it's easier, and as I'll show you, there's some weird artifacts when you use the stars that it's just easier if they're Starless. And so if we take a peek at our Starless subtraction, we have some nice nebulae in here. Nice HA, beautiful HA. I really like this. This is really, really nice data. Thank you, Brian, for the data. So as you can see in the stars version, there's some weird artifacts, which these will get covered when you add your stars back, but honestly, I think it's just easier to use a starless one, in my opinion. So yeah. So, and then when we add it back, I'm going to rename this Narrowband HA. So when we add it back here, we can control how much we want added back and in what pixel channels. But these should already work fine. You can always change them for like what you color want, but we'll explain that a little more later. Okay, now let's do oxygen, I guess. So let's open up that same script. Oops. Open up oxygen, and oxygen you want to subtract from green, not blue, as green is more into the oxygen wavelength. Oh yeah, and then so then same thing. I'm gonna wait for it to generate. Awesome. So now that we're finished with that, let's see how this looks. This looks good. You can see the SNR. Not a lot of people actually know about the SNR. So I'm gonna be trying to bring that out. And you see very faint little oxygen signals, but generally it works pretty well. Oh yeah, let's name this Narrowband OIII. And that should work with the Pixel Math Addition script. Let's go back into here. And so then sulfur will be subtracted from red. So yeah. So those are the 3 narrowband signals. And when you're working with all 3 of them with LRGB, it's really complicated with the colors. You have to make sure you don't oversaturate or make the colors look weird. Sometimes adding it in SHO isn't the best, and adding it with the natural colors is better. Alright, so, okay, so this looks a little weird, but that's okay, because we're going to be clipping the data anyways. Clipping it anyways, so it's okay, but we'll stretch that later. And I might be going fast with the stretching. You can take your time and figure things out, but yeah, okay, so we can close our O3, sulfur, and HA. So I think this looks good. Actually, so since I forgot to run GrAxpert on these, I'm actually gonna run a quick GrAxpert. You can use DBE, but I'm just gonna run it with like a high smoothing. Just so it doesn't really desaturate, dedemonstrate it too bad. Just quick little something. We'll crop this out later. This little thing in the corner. So, yeah. All right. Let's close all these up and let's start processing our LRGB. Oops. So, as you can see here, we have our LRGB file. So what I like to do first, I like to follow this flow chart that I show on screen. So basically what you do first is you combine RG and B together. So let's do that real quick. Blue. So let's combine RGB into this. Let's auto stretch this. Let's give it a unlinked auto stretch. This looks wonderful. So here's the data we're working with. Very, very clean. I actually really like this data. It's very nice. Let's do a blur exterminator on this. We'll do like a 0.3 -10. I'll leave that just to make sure those star shapes are correct, and we'll go do the same thing to loom too. But actually, maybe not loom, but well, I guess we could just do that. So when we're doing LRGB, in my opinion, it is best to keep the stars RGB. I don't use my loom stars, so actually I'll run this and I'll star exterminate my loom. I actually don't use my loom stars because generally when I use luminance stars, they end up weird colors and weird shapes. So I don't use Loom for stars. Okay, let's get this. You can obviously do this without Blur Exterminator or Star Exterminator. This is not needed. And you don't need Noise Exterminator too. I would recommend some kind of star removal like StarNet++ or StarNet V2. Deep SNR actually works really well for what it is. So I would highly recommend getting that too. Okay, so this is looking good. This is some nice Loom. So what we're gonna do first is I say manually color calibrate, but it might not be that. So this is what I call color calibration. So let's take this. We shall background neutralize it. And then we'll calibrate it with that same preview you made. You want to make a preview that doesn't have any stars in it, but you don't want to remove the stars. So let's restretch this. Should be linked. Shouldn't need to. That's unlinked. This is linked, which, okay, whatever, looks fine. Let's do an unlinked. Okay, so let's do Star Exterminator on this bad boy. So again, I'm extracting the RGB stars. I like to work with starless images. I find it's just easier to not have the stars in the way, which is why for my narrowband subtraction, I'm not using stars. Okay, so what I'm gonna do to make these stars look good is I'm going to, first of all, apply that, which makes them look better, which the ATF, it applies the current screen transfer function. And then we're gonna SCNR these to remove all that green so we don't end up with green stars. And then these are very bright and there are way too many of them, so we're just gonna decrease them. And then we're gonna grab some saturation and bump it up on the saturation because I really like saturated stars. People sleep on saturated stars, and be honest. I really like my stars when they're like really saturated. Honestly, you could actually, that looks good. That looks like good. And so then we're just gonna rename this stars, which is good. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this RGB. Let's make sure this is non-linear, right? Okay. And then I'm gonna take the, where is it? We're going to average this RGB, and then we're gonna linear fit it to this loom so that when we LRGB combine it, the loom or the RGB isn't over too powering. And so that way it's all balanced out. So we can close that. And so then we have our loom and our RGB. I'm just gonna apply what just happened? Let's delete that. We don't need that anymore. Apply the screen transfer function, and usually I would use GHS, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So this is nice and quick. Let's do a deep SNR on this. Oh wait, we should have done that first. Let's apply deep SNR. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have done it first, because considering the oh, it didn't actually make it look that bad with okay, that looks good. So let's delete that. Okay, so let's apply this. That looks nice. Nice. Get rid of that noise, or I don't think it's hallucinating. Stars. Looks fine. It's okay. Star cluster down there. I'm honestly gonna probably bring this down a little bit. Yeah. And then we're gonna do the same. Oh wait, I guess we gotta. I forgot to extract the background for these again. I'm sorry, but I don't think it really needs it that much. Some really nice data. Where's my Graxper toolbox? Oh, here it is. So let's just do high background extraction. Oh wait, this might turn out bad. I might need to go back. Yeah, how about we, oh wait. Okay, no, that looks fine. Okay, so now we have this. Let's come in here and let's extract the background of this too. And then we'll start working on this. The only thing with deep SNR is it doesn't really have a great way of doing single channel images, but that's okay because we can work around that. So let's actually do a noise exterminator on this one. Don't do it too harsh. Sorry. Alright. This is pretty good data. It's pretty noiseless. Should be okay. Let's decrease that. I think that looks good. So now I think we're ready to combine after these are both non-linear. So let's extract or change or remove all of these, and let's do an LRGB combination. So take loom, red, green, and blue. 500, 500, no chrominance should work fine. You might have to change these depending on what kind of colors you want. Oh yeah, this looks really nice. Really, really nice. Really nice, really nice. Look how good that looks. Okay. I think we're fully good to go. So let's close our blue, green, and red. Okay, so let's work this a little bit before we add our narrowband. So I'm going to do some curves adjustments on this. Let's find a nice background spot. This is how I go along with curves. I like to find a nice background spot, and then based on these values, you kind of decrease it, and you can see it kind of works pretty well there. But you obviously maybe go a little. So I think something in there, but then like down here. So why don't we increase the red when it's like up here, and then just keep it the same. So that should help. And let's make sure we don't blow out this too much. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's make it a little brighter, just a little brighter, a little bit. Okay, I think this looks good. So we can name this starless. So when we drag this over here, we can just add the stars and see how it looks with the stars. So this data is really nice, as you can see. There's a lot of cool little regions in here. How about we take our curves? Actually, I think we're good. I'm gonna be honest, I think we're good. So let's start by stretching our HA and then adding it. So let's apply that stream transfer function. I'm actually going to do a noise exterminator on this. I find it helps a lot, especially with getting that sweet, nice supernova revenant out, which is actually very unknown of, but this is like supernova revenant. It's really cool how a lot of people don't even know it's there, and I'll show you in the oxygen. It'll look really nice. Okay, so I'm fine with it being pretty noiseless, but there's just a little grain there. It's not full plastic paint-esque. So let's clip this. So when we're doing this, you want to clip the background. So I think I'll clip it like that. So this leaves, yeah. So let's see how that looks. So let's add our HA, and that's really bright. But that's okay, because what we can do is you can just increase the brightness of this, and then we'll add it and see how it looks. So that makes it not as bright, but you can see it definitely. Actually, let's just do it when it's not as bright. So you can see that adds a lot of detail and signal to noise ratio, especially in these faint little HA streams out here. And in here, it just adds all that nice signal, makes this a nice pink color. So obviously when you're doing this, you can change the symbols by changing. So if you want to like add a little more blue into this, which I might want to do, because I kind of more like a more pink. Okay, So some people might say that's too much, but as you'll see in a little bit, we're gonna use that script that I showed you to handle that core from being super crazy. So yeah. So now let's do our oxygen. So our oxygen is fun because in here we have these little oxygen O3 bits of the signal SNR of the supernova remnant. So I'm gonna try to get those out. Let's do a noise exterminator, and I'm actually gonna do a really high one right here because I really want to get those little things out. And I know the data can kind of support it, but it's still really helpful to not have like any noise. It's okay. So let's just really clip that background. And I'm actually just gonna bring these little bits up in here. And then in here, we're not gonna bring those up too much. So let's see how that looks. I know it's kind of an intense stretch, but let's add that O3. Oh yeah, that looks good. So obviously we might have to crop out this top right, as it has some bad artifacts. Now I almost think I could use a clone stamp here to, oh shit, I think I use a clone stamp like 20 to kind of just paint this black because I know it's just gradient. So if I use a clone stamp here, to get this gradient out here. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so that looks good. Kind of went on my way to do that. Let's see if that adds anything. So we got that nice faint, and we don't have that stupid gradient. So now that we actually did that, I think I'm gonna try to stretch this a little more and get that, this. Okay, so this is like a low to mid, like lowest point, like right there. So that means we just need to bring this down. And then we can bring everything up. And then let's see how that looks. See if we can add some more of that O3. Oh yeah, okay, so that looks really good. Now you might notice it's kind of bright here, but that's okay. I like it to add that brightness. Don't worry, we'll fix that core after we add our sulfur. And we'll do some of our final touches, and then we'll be finished. So that looks like really good. As you can see, without it, there is no signal of that O3. No chance you're gonna see that without that O3 there. It is a supernova remnant. It's very faint. I don't exactly know how much O3 it is. I will put the times of all of the data in the description, but this is not a lot of data, I don't think. So certainly adds a lot. Certainly down here too, there's a lot of O3 to be added, but I'm just really happy. We're trying to really get that supernova remnant out. Might even be able to go a little bit farther with this. So if we look at some of these inner, like brighter pixels, we can go like right like there, and then we just bring this down. And then why don't we, is everybody can HDR this? Where's my HDR? Did I not have, can I HDR this? It's not gonna work, is it? Oh yeah, okay. So let's just take this core and we'll bring it down. Cause as much as I want to get that SNR out there, I really don't like this core being so bright. Let's see if we can find an HDR tool. Oh yeah, this. See if that works. There we go. Okay. that should preserve it a little bit better. So now let's add the O3. There we go. So now it's not super blown out in the core. And we have that nice supernova remnant. Even see a little bit of it right here, which we would not have been able to see before. I don't know if that's O3 or just gradient, but this looks really cool. You can see that nice texture the O3 adds. Okay, let's add the sulfur now. So, as you notice, the sulfur is a little bit weird, but that's okay because we can just clip it. Oh wait, let's apply. And now we'll clip it. With this data, you want to clip it, or with the continuum subtracted HA, you want to clip it, or else, so you can just get the HA, and none of that noise. Actually, let's noise fix this. But with normal, like LRGB or RGB, or just any image, you really don't want to clip that background because a lot of the time you can lose data. Like if you clip like this area, like you don't get that data. It's completely lost, and it ends up resulting in a really off balance and kind of icky looking image, if you know what I mean. Clipping data is often frowned upon, but some people clip data to preserve gradients, which you can just use things like dynamic background attraction and Graxpert to remove, so you won't need it. Okay, so with this sulfur addition, I'm going to add it, and it's not going to do much. So why don't we make this brighter? You know what? I'm actually gonna change the color of the O3 edition because I don't know. I kind of want it to be more of a deeper blue. So oh yeah, okay. So this one has. Let's add like 5 on this. And that will result in a deeper blue. That's okay. That looks good. And then, okay, and then sulfur. I'm actually gonna decrease this to like a 2 and increase the blue to like a 4 because I'm gonna make the sulfur a little more pink as it kind of fits with it. So let's see. Okay, so we need to stretch this more, make this brighter. Okay, maybe that'll work. Add some more. It's okay if sulfur doesn't add much, considering this isn't there's not a lot of sulfur in this object. Now, as you can see, it definitely adds something. Makes some areas brighter, pop out more, but it doesn't add a lot. We're just adding a nice little confirmation, especially in here, these ridges. So that's looking pretty good so far, I'm not gonna lie. So this core, let's work on this whole area. So let's make this brighter. Let's find a background-ish spot and see. So I think the background right here is like around here. So let's just kind of. And then I think we can just not stretch that as much, but then still bring the background down more. Okay, that looks cooked. How about we just leave it here? So let's do a little funny thing. Okay, so this script will HDR that core without breaking the. Okay, so as much as this might look cooked, it really just gets that core really nice. So I notice a lot of noise in here, so I'm actually going to do a light non-linear deep SNR just so that I can kind of see it. I recommend deep SNR for those who don't have noise exterminator. It's very nice. It's very nice data. I mean, very nice noise processing tool. It does really well with the galaxies especially, and making sure it doesn't smudge things up. It does a really good job. Okay, I think this looks good. Let's actually bring those highlights down, because these are still way highlighted. Did not get that triffid as good as I wanted it to. I don't know, does that make it look flat? We still want it to be, okay, so I think like 1 is okay. And that helps get that triffid shape. So yeah, so this turned out really nice. You can see that little SNR. So let's see what it looks like with the stars. Oh yeah, this looks great. I love how this turned out, actually. This is like my best process of this data. It's not finished yet. I mean, if you want to change some of the colors, maybe you could do like a little more. Actually, I think this looks good. I think it looks good. I think we could be done here. So yeah, that's the final processing result. More tips. When you're working with LRGB and SHO, you really want to make sure you manage your brightness and colors, because it's easy to get carried away with it, and you can really make them annoying, weird colors. As you can see, doing that saturation boost on the stars adds a lot of life to the image. I find that a lot of people have green or miscolored stars. It's really nice to have that. SCNR is a great tool. In the zip folder that I put in the description will be these icons, the HDMRT script, and all of the data that you need. And I will also have the Continuum subtraction narrowband repository link in the description. So yeah, thank you for coming to my tutorial on how to do all this. It's really good. I couldn't really find any good tutorials out there on how to do this, so I thought I wanted to make one. Thank you. See you guys later. Bye. Oh yeah, and thanks to Jimmy for making that Continuum subtraction processing script, or Charlie. Really good. Does a really good job. Thank you.